Hi guys, today we are cooking a lime and orange cake. Okay, so I've got all of the ingredients out here that you should need. So if you just take a look through, so I've got 2 bowls. Okay, you're going to need 2 bowls. You're going to need some scales. If you don't have scales, I have the recipe in cup measurements, so just email me and ask for those and I'll send them through. You're going to need a zester. If you don't have a zester, you can use this small side of your grater. Okay, so that's a normal grater that has a small size, or a zester. You're going to need a juicer or really strong hands, a measuring cup, a whisk, a teaspoon and a big spoon, and then you're also going to need a spatula. Okay, you can cook this cake in 3 different types of pans. They will all work. So you can cook it as a loaf cake. Okay, so if you've got one of these, you can use that. This will need to be lined with baking paper. Okay, not only will it need to be greased, it will need to be lined with baking paper. Okay, you can use what we call a bundt tin, so it's got a nice pretty kind of outside. This is a silicone one, so it can go in the oven, but it's all wobbly. This is what I'm going to use today because I like the pattern on the outside. This just needs to be greased. You don't need to put paper inside these ones. And then you can use a just a normal spring tin. Ideally, if the bottom comes out, that's going to help you, but if it doesn't, if it's just a tin, that's fine. Make sure you put some paper and some greasing around this as well. Okay, we then have our ingredients. So I've just got some bog standard normal oil. All right, you're going to need some citrus extract. You can make this as a vanilla cake or a lemon cake, or actually I'll put a few different options down, but when it says extract, you need to use either vanilla or go with any flavor, but I here have a citrus extract, which is orange flavored. I've then got some actual oranges and some limes, just for a bit more of that zing. I've got some eggs, okay, just standard eggs, 3 eggs if you can get them. Some sugar, normal granulated sugar. It can be caster sugar as well, it doesn't actually matter. So just normal sugar or any sugar will do. Some yogurt, okay, so there's 2 types here. I've just got natural yogurt and I've got Greek yogurt. You can use either or both, mix them in, it's fine. We need some salt, some baking powder, some plain flour, okay, not self-raising, plain flour. If you only have self-raising flour, then you don't need to put in the baking powder. Okay, because we know that baking powder is a raising agent, so self-raising flour already has that raising agent inside, so you don't need to put it in. Okay, so hopefully you guys can get your hands on all of this. What I'm going to do now is measure it all out, and I'll talk to you in about 10 minutes once I've finished doing this. See you soon. Okay, so we've got all our ingredients into 2 bowls. We've got our dry ingredients into 1 bowl, and then we've got our wet ingredients plus the sugar into other bowl. So I'm just going to add my extract now. Okay, so I'm going to put in probably 2 teaspoons of extract. Okay, if you don't know what your extract tastes like, feel free to try it. Okay, it might be very strong, so watch out for that. Once we've done that, okay, we're going to get whisking. Okay, so you need to use your whisk, and you're going to whisk together all of your wet ingredients. Okay, so you should be incorporating the yogurt into the eggs, into the sugar, into the lemon zest, and I put a little bit of lime juice in there, as well as orange juice. It doesn't say it on the recipe, but I really want that lime flavor to come through, so I have put a little bit extra into the batter. Okay, so now I've got this nice kind of yellow homogenized batter that's happening here, and then I'm going to put this batter into the dry ingredients. So I'm putting my wet into the dry. Okay, you can kind of see through the bowl there. All right, it's nice and yellow. All right, and it's all mixed in together. It's a really pale color. So that's when I'm going to get my spatula. All right, and I'm going to get my dry ingredients, and pour them straight into there. Get all of that out. Okay. Now you can use your spoon or your spatula here, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to start with the spoon just to make sure I get it all off the edges. Right, and then I might go to my spatula. Actually, by the looks of that, I'm going to use my whisk. Alright, because I want to make sure that there are no lumps in there whatsoever. Alright, so I'm going to use my whisk and I'm going to whisk all of that together. So this recipe is an all-in-one mix. Okay, we did this with the chocolate cake earlier in the year. Alright, we're not trying to add air into it or anything like that. It's going to be kind of like a dense orange cake. Right, that we can put a sugar syrup over it so it tastes lovely and sticky and sweet at the end. So once you have whisked that all together and all the lumps are gone, okay, you're then going to pour it into your baking tin. So I've got a few more minutes of whisking to go, and then I'm going to put it into my baking tin. Cool, so my mixture is ready, it's nice and smooth, and now I'm going to oil this lovely bundt tin here. So the way to do that is if you have spray oil, that's fantastic. You can just pick it up and spray all the sides. But if you don't, like me, okay, just grab your oil, right, and just put about a teaspoon into the bottom of the pan. Grab some handy towels, all right, and you're just going to screw them up into a ball, and you're going to move them around the bundt tin to get into all of the little nooks and crannies. Okay, so the oil needs to cover everything. There'll be enough oil in here so that it doesn't get all absorbed by the tissue and that it spreads itself nicely around the tin. You don't want the oil to be pooling at the bottom of the tin either. Okay, so it needs to go all around it, needs to go up the sides in the nooks and crannies, but you don't want it to pool at the bottom. Okay, should only take you a couple minutes. Make sure you get the center as well, okay, so that it doesn't stick to the center as well. You can add a little bit of flour to this if you would like to flour it as well, just for a little extra bit. So we're going to put just a tiny bit in here. Alright, I'm going to give that a shake around, cause a bit of a mess. Okay, with these silicone tins, they're really good because you can just bend them and shake them whatever way you want. Okay, and then get back in there with our tissue. Make sure there's no flour pooling either. That would be yuck. And tap that all around. Cool. And then get rid of your whisk. Grab your spatula. Okay, and you're going to pour that into your bundt tin. Just pouring from one side will be fine. It will evenly spread itself around the tin. Okay. Wonderful. And then if there's anything around the sides or around the middle of the bundt tin, just wipe it off, okay, because you don't want it to cook on the sides of your tin. Right, and now we are ready to go in the oven. So for the final part of this cake, we're going to make a lemon drizzle, which is going to go on top. So if you can make a drizzle, that's going to get you more marks when you come to do your final practical in year 11. Okay, so I'm just going to teach you how to do that now. So what we need is some juice from our fruit that we put into our cake. Okay, so I've just got orange juice here and I'm just going to juice them. I want about 65 mils or to 70 mils. It doesn't really matter how much I get as long as I make sure that the sugar is the same amount. Okay, the sugar needs to be the same amount. Alright, so we'll go through. I've got 3 halves because I put the other fruits into the cake. Go. Should be about right, we'll see. Okay, so I've got my measuring jug here. Pour that straight into there. And actually, that's about 100 mils, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to make 100 mils of it. So I've got a pot because we're going to have to heat this on the stove top. Okay, and I'm going to put in 100 grams of sugar straight into the pot. and add that juice to it. Okay, again, because I want it to be nice and strong and flavorful, I'm actually going to add just a dash of my blood orange syrup. Okay, so we put this straight onto the hob, okay, and we're going to stir it with a wooden spoon, and we're going to stir it for about 5 to 10 minutes. It's going to come up to the boil, so it's going to bubble, and then when all the sugar has dissolved, we're going to take it off the heat, and then we just let it sit in the pan until our cake is ready to come out of the oven. Okay, I would show you how to do that, but I don't have this set up in my kitchen to show you, so I'm going to do that, take some photos, and then when I drizzle this over the cake, I'll show you back out here on my kitchen table. Okay, so we have our bundt cake or our lemon cake orange and lime cake out of the oven. So as you can see, okay, mine is got caught on the edges because my oven is crap, but you shouldn't blame your tools. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fork and I'm going to just stab all over my cake, okay, and I don't have to go very far, just about half of the fork length in all around the cake, and that is so it can absorb the lovely orange and lime syrup that we have already made. Okay, so I made that just before. It took me about 5 or 6 minutes. Ideally you want to make it just before your cake comes out of the oven. Let your cake sit for 10 minutes, take it out of the container, and then put it onto a board or something that you don't mind that gets sticky. Okay, and then you're just going to drizzle your syrup over your cake and let it drip down and hopefully soak up all of those lovely lemony juices. Okay, and then once it's nice and cold, all right, you can take a nice slice of it like this, and you can serve it with either some more yogurt, okay, or you can serve it with berries or some nice icing sugar sprinkled on top. So send your photos of your finished cakes into me. I'll put some various variations on the recipe up as well. If you can't do it, please email me and let me know. That's totally fine, but I've got some other work for those of you that can't get this done. But I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next week, and hopefully we're doing some more baking. See ya!